Good day everyone and welcome again to my channel English 1-on-1. Today we shall be looking at the oral presentation. The objectives of this presentation are as follows. 1. To make students cognizant of the changes made to the oral presentation. 2. To provide tips on how students may enhance their oral presentation. Lastly, to analyze the rubric for the oral presentation. Are you ready? Well, let's get started.
The changes made to Caribbean Secondary Examination Council, CSEC, English A oral presentation.
Here are some of the changes made to the oral presentation. Now, the oral presentation is now a personal response to your subtopic and not your topic. The oral presentation should be delivered in 3 to 5 minutes. It should be delivered predominantly in standard English, although Creole is accepted. It should be delivered mainly in standard English. It may take the form of a poem, poetry, prose, speech, persuasion, or exposition. Now, one of the major change to the oral presentation is that it now requires that a detailed outline or detailed notes or transcript of your oral presentation must be placed in your portfolio in order for the marks to be accepted. In previous years, it was optional for students to provide this detailed outline. Now it is a requirement in order for you to get your marks. The oral presentation is now marked out of 20 instead of 10. Let me repeat, it is now marked out of 20 instead of 10. Therefore, it is vital that students understand how to effectively master this section in order to get the maximum mark.
Issues which face us all are not just how to survive. Obviously, we are doing that somehow. But really how to thrive. Really. Thrive with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. This poem is called And Still I Rise. Now, every person in this auditorium has gone to sleep one night or another, or gone to bed one night or another with fear or pain or loss or terror, unhappiness, grief, insecurity, and yet each of us has awakened, arisen, seen another human being and said, "Morning, how are you?" "Fine, thanks, and you?" Now, wherever that abides, whether it's behind the kneecap or in the bend of the elbow or between the teeth, wherever that is, lives, there we will find our nobleness. Not nobility, I think that's a pompous word, but the nobleness of the human spirit, that we rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise.
Here are some tips on how to execute effectively the oral presentation. Tip number 1, choose a form for your oral presentation that represents you. By that I mean poetry, prose, or speech. So a form that you are comfortable with. Ensure that you insert a word, a line, or a phrase that will make your presentation memorable. Thirdly, write out your oral presentation and practice before the mirror. with your friends and family in order for you to memorize your lines. Make eye contact with your audience to create a sense of intimacy and involvement. And lastly, change your pitch and tone throughout your presentation. If these tips were beneficial, remember to like, share, tell a friend, and most definitely subscribe. Let's now turn our attention to the rubric, the scoring rubric for the oral presentation. And as you can see, it's marked out of 20. And there are four facets or four aspects that students will be marked based on. And these are: 1, articulation; 2, style of presentation of delivery; 3, structure, comprehensibility, and the development of topics; 4, language use and vocabulary. Now, the student for under articulation, the student will be awarded 5 to 6 marks if the articulation is clear, precise, and confident, and easy to follow and understand. 4 marks for mostly clear, some hesitation, generally understandably. 3 marks, some unclear articulation, frequent hesitation, and monotone. 1 to 2 mark, hard to understand, poor articulation, difficult to follow. 0 mark if it is articulation is considered jerky or halting. Style of presentation or delivery. 4 marks, maintains excellent eye contact. See where eye contact is important. Dynamic body language and engages the audience throughout. 3 marks if the student maintains some eye contact and good body language, engages the audience, but could be more dramatic. 2 marks if the minimal eye contact and body language, limited audience engagement. 1 mark if it lacks eye contact or body language, disengage from the audience. 0 mark if inappropriate body language, posture, no eye contact, or lacks confidence and gesture. Structure and comprehensibility and development of topic. 5 to 6 mark, well structured, clear introduction, body and conclusion, highly relevant and detailed content. Clear structure, mostly relevant and detailed, but could have been more depth. Some structure but lacks clarity or sufficient detail in parts. 1 to 2 mark, disorganized, or incomplete. Content lacks clarity and facts. And then language use and vocabulary. Excellent use of grammar and vocabulary, 4 marks. 3 marks, good use of grammar and vocabulary, but there were some lapses or a few lapses. 2 marks, fail use of grammar and vocabulary, but there were many lapses. 1 mark, weak use of grammar and vocabulary, there were significant lapses. 0 mark, lack basic words, lack specificity, very many errors in words and sentences. And there you have it, the rubric for the oral presentation.